Hello and welcome. Many thanks for keeping a date with us on another edition of the program. As you know, we are your source for latest happenings in the financial services sector of the economy. I am Jennifer Obidiebubi. This week on the program, we join Faith outside the town hall in her one-on-one exclusive interview with Mr. WOLE OSHIN, who is the chairman, Energy and Allied Insurance Pool of Nigeria, EAIPN, which was set up almost 2 years ago.
There are some people that are risk takers, and there are those people that would rather pay a premium for risk.
Also to come is the highlights of the National Pension Commission 2016 Journalist Conference that took place in Calabar, Cross River State. Plus, our industry icon segment. Details of these and more are coming your way shortly after the break. Please stay with us.
This is Insurance Industry Town Hall. This is No Holds Barred.
Apology to those who don't understand Yoruba.
Translate it.
It is not in one day that you feed a child that is kwashoko or that is malnutrition. You know, but gradually you can see them recover.
Insurance is the last hope now in Nigeria.
Because my father want to start up, insurance. So I should forget about that. They are 419 people.
No, that's
what my father told me. But I just push it aside. So let me go ahead. And what my father told me is what happened.
The greatest beneficiary of FX in this country is the financial institutions, which accounts for 48 to 49%, average in the last 5 years.
This is ALMOND Finance and Wealth Report.
All right, welcome back. On the site of ALMOND today, we are outside the Insurance Industry Town Hall. I'm sitting one-on-one with Mr. WOLE OSHIN, who is a past chairman of the Nigerian Insurers Association and also the chairman of the board of the Nigerian Energy and Allied Insurance Pool of Nigeria. Together, we'll be looking at that very important aspect of the insurance industry. Thank you so very much, sir, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sir. It's almost 2 years now since the Energy and Allied Insurance Pool of Nigeria was formed. How would you describe the journey so far?
Well, the journey has been quite successful. We definitely are not where we want to be, but we've made significant progress. You know, anything that you start afresh, obviously, will always have one challenge or the other in taking off. You know, but I must say that we've literally stabilized where we are right now.
Okay, going back to when you started, what were some of the teething challenges that you faced?
Well, I think one of the major teething challenges, of course, is what you face in any new venture, the buying of people. People always typically would want to identify with successful institutions. So this was new. We've had previous attempts in the past, which may not have been fantastic. So it took a while to convince member subscribers to actually come in and subscribe to the pool. But once they got in, you know, we've seen an increase in the number of subscribers and in terms of even the performance of the pool itself.
Okay, so how would you rate the capacity of the pool as vis-a-vis the retention capacity of operators now in the market?
Well, I think the pool is bringing, you know, additional capacity to the market, and I think that is critically why it is there in the first instance. You know, in terms of even the security behind the pool itself, you know, we have AAA companies that are backing the pool. So, you know, in terms of capacity, it's brought in excess of $100 million. You know, in terms of capacity to the market, you know, which is quite significant. You know, if you look at it from a risk perspective.
Okay, initially when you started out with the pool, what was the main objective of the energy pool?
Well, the principal objective was we wanted to, as much as possible, keep businesses within the fold of the Nigerian market and build up a portfolio which in the long run would serve as a support for the oil and gas business. What we've had in the past, or continue to have to some extent, is that because of lack of capacity, most of these premiums go abroad. Now, this serves as a kind of a learning curve for us. It's a kind of a suspension for the industry. We believe that, over the years, we'll build up sufficient enough capacity, through this pool to actually support the entire industry.
Okay, so how would you rate the acceptance of the oil industry? Because oftentimes, going back to what you just said, this issue of they don't have adequate capacity to retain large scale business within Nigerian market. So how have they responded so far to this?
Well, I mean, I will say that the IOCs, the OICs, yes, are stakeholders. Also a major stakeholder is even the regulator. But thankfully, the regulator is on our side, because part of the regulator's responsibility is to ensure that capacity is built in the market. And that is the angle in which they are coming from. So to a large extent, the regulator wants to see the involvement of the pool on every oil and energy slip that is presented for approval. So that is really helping. And on the other side, where we have the OICs, the oil companies, we are also talking to them for them to begin to understand, what the objective of the pool is. But as it stands right now, the regulator has been very supportive, because they believe in the spirit of the setting up of the pool.
Okay, sir. Do you see more pools of this nature coming up in the future in the Nigerian market, or is this one just enough?
Well, I cannot see that far into the future. Even in the African market, we have the African Oil and Energy Pool, which is managed by African Re. There is no reason why we cannot have more than one pool. That's the reality, but we feel that there's still more to be done with this pool before we then begin to look at other pools. We have other pools in other sectors, like the liability pool exists already, and I see a situation where actually to support this market as businesses are growing and we are beginning to, encounter bigger risks, there may actually be a need for other pools, either in the oil and gas sector or in some other sector.
Okay, so going forward, what changes would you possibly suggest to maximize the potentials of the pool?
Well, I think I wouldn't say changes, but I mean there's still more room, for us to bring in members. We still have some members that are not on board yet. So we'll be looking to drive, as much as possible the entire market, to be partakers of this pool. It's early days to start to look for changes. I think we're still trying to cross our T's and dot our I's, but we're quite sensitive to the fact that there's a need, at any point in time, to be sensitive to changes if there's a need for that. So we will do that as a board.
Okay, for members who are not yet subscribers to the pool, what would you say is holding them back?
Well, like I said, there are some people that are risk takers, and there are those people that would rather pay a premium for risk. Some of us took the risk, and we're beginning to see the benefits. And I believe that those people that are watching, some of them have started making inquiries, and more will make inquiries and join, because they probably now feel more comfortable.
Okay, so you're saying in essence that there's still room for new members to subscribe?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay, so how would you describe the performance of the board, which you are the chairman, and the managers of the pool? How have they done so?
Well, starting with the board, we have very capable and competent people on the board, of which I'm very happy to work with, and I must thank them because they are committed to ensuring that this whole process, which requires a lot of energy at its outset, comes to a good start. So they have done very well. That's the board. You know, in terms of the pool, I don't know, you were talking about is it the performance of the pool that you're talking about?
The board and the managers.
The managers, yes. In terms of the managers, you know, we went through an extensive process in selecting a manager, and we felt that an experienced manager would take us to destination, and that was how come we came about using Africa Re, because they already manage a number of pools. They manage the African oil and energy pool for Africa, and they also manage the African aviation pool. So they already have that experience, you know, and that was what informed our decision. And I must say that to date, we're quite happy with that.
Okay, some people would see, in some instances, would say that as wouldn't there be a conflict of interest being African Re? They manage the oil and gas pool. They also manage the aviation pool, and now they're managing the energy and allied insurance pool in Nigeria.
Well, the reality is that there's no conflict, because apart from the fact that there's firewall within their system, the management of a pool is completely different, you know, from the reinsurance program itself. You know, so there's really no conflict. We don't see where the conflict is. You know.
Okay, finally, sir, going forward, what is your take generally on the energy and allied insurance pool of Nigeria?
I think the future is bright. Into this 6 months into this year, things have already turned around. The books are looking good. We're hoping to do pretty well by the end of this year. You know, so it's looking up. Things are looking up. People are beginning to imbibe, are beginning to, you know, come on side of the pool, you know, as a means of protecting their portfolio in the oil and gas sector. So it's things are looking up.
Have you started making profit?
Well, that's what I mean when I said it's turned around.
Okay.
This year is looking good. It's looking good.
Okay, you won't say you won't say more than that.
Well, I think you know, when you look at something 6 months down the line,
okay.
And it's good, you want to stay on the side of caution to say it's looking good, and hopefully the year will end well.
Okay. Okay, so are there plans on the pipeline to also, we do know that Ghana is also coming up in the oil and gas business. Are there plans to extend the operations of the pool to other parts of West Africa?
Well, for now, there are no such plans. But one thing that I can say is that people are trying to understand what we've done. You know, and they're talking to the managers and asking questions. So and that tells us that we're on the right track. So other countries, you know, there's a lot of oil discovery all over Africa. East Africa, you know, West Africa, they're all asking questions that, look, how did you guys come about this, and what exactly are you doing? So they're talking to the managers, and they're, you know, exploring various ways in which they can also protect their portfolio in their states.
Alright, welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you highlights of PENCOM 2016 Journalist Conference that took place at the Transcorp Hotel, Calabar. The theme was Understanding the New Corporate Strategy of the Pension Industry. The two-day conference had in attendance insurance and pension correspondents from Lagos and Abuja, labor correspondents from Lagos and Abuja, business editors in the print and electronic media, as well as top management of the Commission.
The National Pension Commission, PENCOM, recently put together its 2016 Journalists Conference at the Transcorp Hotel, Calabar. The theme was Understanding the New Corporate Strategy of the Pension Industry. In attendance were insurance and pension correspondents, labor correspondents, business editors, as well as top management of PENCOM. Welcoming participants to the conference on behalf of the Director General, Professor Mohammed Kauje Abubakar, stated that the ultimate goal of PENCOM is to use the platform of the conference to give sufficient information about the workings of the contributory pension scheme to journalists to enable them educate the public.
The topics to be covered at this conference have been carefully designed to provide a clear understanding of all major functional aspects of the contributory pension scheme. Specific emphasis was given to issues of greater interest to retirees and contributors. The presentations will commence with explanations on the major highlights of the new Pension Reform Act 2014, and thereafter dwell into specific operational issues, including investment of pension funds, including the investment of pension funds, the micro-pension initiative, retirement benefits payment, and the role of media in reporting the pension industry. The ultimate goal is to impart sufficient knowledge about these issues as to enable you educate the public. Therefore, I encourage you to make this conference as interactive as possible by sharing your concerns and seeking clarifications from our team.
Kickstarting the presentation, Mr. Muhammad S. Muhammad, Secretary and Legal Advisor, PENCOM, spoke on the Pension Reform Act 2014, matters arising. Also speaking on understanding the investment of the pension fund, Mr. Egwari Kede, Longe Chairman PENUP, stated that there will always be volatility, but their job as pension fund operators is to manage the volatility and come out on top.
Our job is to manage that volatility and come out on top, and that's what we're trying to do now, and I think we'll be successful. But you also know that the entire country is suffering serious macroeconomic challenges, and I think that the body language of the powers that be has got to change. Let us look at the society, because I know that that's one of the topical issues. We always get asked this question: what are the pension funds doing in the society? You can't feel the impact. In Chile, they built roads. In one place also, they've done a lot. They've done this, they've done that. So everybody is an expert now in investments, and everybody wants us to take that money and go and build one bridge somewhere, build one railway track somewhere, and so on and so forth. One of the topical issues also is housing. So let's just take a review of how we can make a societal impact with the pension funds.
Other speakers were Mr. Ehieme J. Ohioma, Head Investment Supervision Department, PENCOM, who spoke on pension funds for economic development, investing pension funds infrastructure. Mr. Polycarp NC Anyang, Head Micro Pensions Department, PENCOM, who spoke on understanding micro pension scheme, features, prospects, and expectations. Mr. Olulano M. Loimi, Head Benefits and Insurance, PENCOM, who spoke on benefit payment arrangement under the contributory pension scheme. And lastly, Mr. Yusuf Ali, Managing Editor, Northern Operations, The Nation newspapers, who spoke on the role of the media in reporting the pension industry. The high point of the conference was the interactive session where journalists asked questions agitating their minds about the pension industry.
My own findings also shows that, especially in the areas of life annuity and program withdrawal, immediately a retiree says he goes for life annuity, the PFA deliberately, they shut him down immediately. They don't want to have anything to do with him again. And they begin to dilly-dally. I have reports of cases right now with me that I'm working on of PFAs not releasing their benefits to them so that they can pursue life annuity. What are you doing about this, sir? I know that this is an issue that is not just starting today, but I want you to say if you have been able to find a solution to this, so that the retirees don't continue to suffer out there.
Some employees are interested in making a voluntary contribution, but they have a challenge of not getting the deductions from their salaries remitted by their employers. How do they make this contribution? Is there a way they can be saving for themselves while waiting on the employers when it becomes convenient for them? How can they do this?
There is no doubt that PENSSION has done so well by way of regulation of the pension industry. Despite increased calls from policymakers and politicians on the need to invest the 5.9 trillion naira pension assets on infrastructural development. While this call looks beautiful on the surface, PENSSION is determined to protect the interests of the contributors of these funds, which is their core mandate.
Alright, that's all we have time for on the program this week. I do hope you enjoyed every moment spent. Join us again next week, same time, same station, for a fresh package. For now, please contact us on the numbers showing on your screen right now. You can also reach us via our email addresses also showing on your screen. Please do visit our website www.almondreports.com, like our Facebook page Almond Finance and Wealth Reports, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Almond Reports TV. That is Almond Space Reports TV together to view past episodes of this program. Again, I urge you to join us every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. live on Niger FM 102.7 for our Pidgin English program, Waiting Insurance They Do Serve. We are also on WhatsApp on 080-335-7879, and you can follow us on Twitter at Madam Insurance. Those in Ibadan and environs can also watch the program on BCOS TV every Thursdays at 6 p.m. My name is Jennifer Obidi Ebube. Until we come your way next time, stay safe and be your brother's keeper. Goodbye.